So it's very encouraging to start your day when you're inspired and of course strengthened to ensure that you really execute what you ought to execute for that day efficiently and ensure that you can really get some good money out there from your business. It's very important. Now that's why we do the business tips and quotes here, getting to see that you get that inspiration. And of course, before we get there, don't forget Zabo made the trading experience much more easy and friendly. Start tonight to hash, and you'll be availed with quite lots of options to trade. You can buy government bonds and securities. Whatever really works for you is what you go by, and you will be able to purchase stocks with as little as 15,000. And it doesn't really matter where you're located. It could be located in northwest, anywhere in the country. Start tonight to hash is the magic code, and you will be able to buy the securities. The markets open at exactly, that is 8:15 a.m. and they close at 3:15 p.m. East African time. That is Monday to Friday. Apart from okay, of course, weekdays, public holidays, the markets don't really operate, but on the rest of the normal days, Monday to Friday, you will be able to be trading. Do something new, no more paperwork. Zabo, my money, my future. Well, now let's get straight to the business tips and quotes as you get inspired to understand what is that you want to hear that will take your business forward and put it into practice. Don't just listen to it, put it into practice. It will be of much more a great relevancy for you right there. Now, firstly, let's review the business tip of the day. Now the business tip of the day here reads that the critical ingredient is getting off your butt and doing something. And it's simple as that. Well, very interesting. A lot of people have ideas, but there are few who decide to do something about them now. Not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Now, the true entrepreneur is a doer, not a dreamer. See, one of the hardest things when you are starting entrepreneurship and now you're getting all these guidance from the different lecturers that tell you that the hardest thing is to start. You can talk about ideas for years, for months, but the most difficult aspect here is to start. That's why majority of the people keep into that dimension of dreams. You always talk about a new idea that you have, but you never really put it into action because you always get into addicted to dreaming, and that is something very dangerous for you. For any person that does that, it's not really healthy for your growth and development. You find yourself stunted in one area for quite a very long period of time. So it's very important. Challenge yourself once in a while. Be like, okay, I talked about this. What is the deadline? When am I supposed to execute this? That is something that will guide you to ensure that you really fulfill what you ought to fulfill in the right time that you ought to fulfill it. Very important. Do something. Get out there. Stand up. Do it. Don't talk about it just, but do it. Execute it. Well, away from that, now let's wind this up with the business quote of the day. Now, the business quote of the day says that to win without risk is to triumph without glory. And that is Cornell made that statement there. Of course, risk is always part of our daily activities, and of course, as the business person says, that the higher the risk, the more the profit. So, if you win without risk, it's like triumph without glory. So it's important. Get something. There is a price to something. To everything that you're trying to pursue, there is a price to it. So it's very important that you really follow that, and in that way, you will be in position to get to where you're heading safely and efficiently. And now that will be something very influential and of course exponential for your growth. So it's important to take into consideration that aspect of risk. What are you willing to lose to get what you want to get? And of course, in most cases, if there is nothing you lose to get what you want to get, you might never attach value to what you got. But once there is a risk involved, you will attach value to what you got. So that is the whole thing about this conversation. Well, that is it for business quotes and of course for the day. Now let's get straight to social media trends. What is really trending in there that is of business sense? Now that is President Yoweri Museveni. He says that I met with eminent leaders of the Central Baganda Diocese and the Church of Uganda led by Bishop Michael Lubowa at State House in Tebe. We discuss more partnerships on wealth creation efforts and of course to end poverty at household level. Now that is something very important to really understand about, and getting to see wealth creation and the religious leaders being at the center of this hall today. So that is something very important. Okay, now we're still reviewing that. Of course, President Museveni right there, the church being at the center of that. Now we see that Entebbe International Airport recorded 149,735 passengers in January 2023, and that is of course 72,934 arriving and 76,441 departing passengers. Now an average of 4,818 per day, compared to a total of 110,547 pax in the same period of January 2022. Now that is something to really look out to and get to understand how it's really happening in there. According that, okay, now still further, we see that the new passenger terminal at Entebbe International Airport is finally complete, and it will be open in June this year 2023, and this will be able to handle more than 5 million passengers a year. Looking at that still, of course that is good news for the country, and no passenger terminal in there, and of course it will be performing what it ought to perform, as we looking at that in regard to that. Still looking at the social media trends of what is really trending in there of business sense. Now see here further, we have known, that's Gerard Kayondo saying that we have known hard water for the last 3 days. The pipeline got blocked and the people are using water freely in Buwanga, Abaita, that's Abaita Babiri in Entebbe. Well, that is something also to look into. Water shortages in those areas, and of course water blockage, but of course it's been quite scarce for the last days. Okay, of course, still as we had discussed that, President Museveni met with the eminent leaders, the Central Baganda Diocese. Yes, of course, wealth creation to end poverty at household level. Now you get to see what is the relevancy of the church being at the center of fighting poverty in that regard, and that is something the president is really looking up to. Besides that, there are quite lots of things that the church can really can implement, quite lots of that. Now still looking at the immigration here, the immigration department at Entebbe International Airport has installed automated border control machines in an effort to combat corruption and extortion. Now these will scan passports and reduce human interactions that lead to the bad vices. Of course, already happening in other countries, and now Uganda is implementing that. So that is something so important. Okay, now this is YouthMed additional financing program, saying that we are undertaking several infrastructure developments in Entebbe municipality. Now, among the sub projects contracted out is the refurbishment of Kampala Road, and that is about 2,058 kilometers. Now, the road has been installed with solar street lights and is already functional. Interesting. Of course, you're looking at the Uganda CA and Civil Aviation Authority there. The post-COVID-19 recovery at Entebbe International Airport currently stands at 87%. Now, Entebbe International Airport recorded, of course, 149,375 passengers in January 2023. Of course, with that, we see 72,934 arriving and 76,541 departing passengers, coming back to an average of 4,818 per day, compared to a total of 110,547 pax. That is in the same period of January 2022. That is post-COVID. at Entebbe Airport, getting to see. Okay, well, that is it for the trends happening there. But then before we get into something just a little quick breaking here, of course, Syria experiencing another earthquake. Turkey rather. Turkey rocked by 6.3 in magnitude quake 2 weeks after Temblors killed more than that was 41,000. Now still here as we see a 6.3 magnitude earthquake rocked Turkey's Hatay province. That is on Monday, 2 weeks after the region was devastated by massive tremors and series of strong aftershocks, injuring or tapping people inside already damaged buildings. Now that is a Turkish interior minister said 3 people were killed and 213 injured, and 8 group with 3. Of course, Syria said people buildings, of course, jumped from buildings in panic regarding that. So that is a report just got in here. Turkey rocked by 6.3 magnitude 2 weeks quake 2 weeks after Temblors killed more than 41,000 rather. Well, that is it regarding that particular area. Getting to see what is happening in there. It's quite very sad for the people, and of course for those that lost people, and quite by the way, lots of people, quite lots of aspects were lost as a result of that earthquake. And for the sports fans, we got to realize that also there was a Newcastle player that died in those 2 weeks earthquakes that happened last time, 2 weeks back, and that was something very sad, as he was found. The body was found days later. That is the most sad part of it. Well, now getting straight into update number 2, let's take a look at of course President Yoweri Museveni meeting of course diaspora personnel, of course discussing more aspects, and of course quite lots were discussed rather. This was during 15th of February when he met the diaspora in there. Let's review this.
If you want to be rich, where can your money make more profit? Where you are in UK, USA, where the system is already saturated, is already constipated, you can call it constipated, with development, or where there are still a lot of gaps that need to be covered. That's my next question. So if you answer those two, then we can talk about other things. Because really this is the issue. Number one, do you want to be prosperous?
Yes.
Do you want to be rich?
Yes. Yes.
And if you want to be rich, where can you be more easily rich? In your Uganda or where you are? Now the campaigning, the what, which you are talking about, will affect your masters, the ones who control you there, the whites who are where you are now. But other people are coming. Chinese don't listen to those fellows of yours. Chinese are flocking in. Indians are flocking in. Arabs, this Dubai, the UAE, they don't listen to those fellows of yours, because for them, they know money. They know money. Those Europeans are spoiled. They are constipated with money, so they no longer. And they are also decadent. They are going down. They are going down with homosexuals, what have you. That's how civilizations come. They go up and collapse, like the Roman Empire. So really, your role would be to make the work much easier, but also for your own benefit.
Tuyina ebintu bingi byetwagala okulaba nti twongera ettaffaali ku ggwanga lyaffe. Kaakati naawe twagala otubuulire engeri gy'oyagala tukikole, kubanga naffe engeri tukuŋŋaanyiza ebirowoozo eby'enjawulo okuva mu bantu ab'enjawulo bano boolaba abaami n'abakyala ne tubiteeka wamu nga bwe twali tutandiseeko DC. So we want to find a meeting point where we can add value to Uganda. Ekirowoozo ekisookera ddala kyakulaba nga tugenda ku mpajiyo gy'oliko ya social economic transformation. Eyokubiri, to take advantage of the Pan-Africanism gy'olwanira and regional integration n'ebirungi ebigirimu. Ensonga eyokuna ya kupacifyinga diaspora, okulaba nti ebirungi ebiri mu diaspora tubireeteeka, mwe muli remittances, mwe muli okwogera value ku agriculture, mwe muli okwogera value mu mining and other resources. Tukoze document ez'enjawulo eziri detailed mu areas ezo nga tulina ba experts ku team abasobola okusindika ensonga ezo. Ebbanga lye tumaze wano tusobodde kulambula ebitundu ebyenjawulo n'abantu abali mu sectors z'enjawulo ne batubuulira ebintu bye bakola era ebimu tubyagadde wadde naffe tulaba tulina ebintu bingi nnyo bye tusobola okugattako bwe tuba tukwataganye ne tutegeera obwetaavu bwabwe naffe we tulabye wali bwetaaga obwetaavu ddala mu policy ne systems.
We are the ambassadors out there. We are the face of the government, and therefore we have to be the ones that lift our flags high in terms of looking for investors, in terms of selling our country, in terms of tourism. That we do have investors with us who are 100% willing to invest in healthcare worth £500 million to £1 billion, in tourism £8.5 million, agribusiness and value addition, packaging and food security at a tune of 25 million, and education and health on top is 10 million. We have these people, and if we need them, we can just call them and they'll be here. Your Excellency, we subscribe to NRM. We believe in the ideology of NRM, so we are doing mobilization.
Aspect in their survey meeting, the diaspora in there, of course, urging them why can't they also succeed in the country where they're operating in, if of course looking at the systems in those countries, the UK, the United Kingdom, those are quite efficient systems, so why can't they really prosper in a way? But also urging them to invest back in the country, that is to ensure further growth and development. But definitely they also had questions regarding how can they do this, what the president is requesting them to do regarding that. How can they really do that? I think you've heard some of the investments, looking at the net worth of those investments, which has been mentioning there. It's quite very alarming, very amazing rather, talking about £500 million of investment, in so many sectors, agriculture, healthcare, and quite a lot of that. I think that is something really very important and to put into great consideration regarding that, and given the advantage that they have, that the countries they operate in, of course, they're not the best in terms of, okay, let me see that. They also have their own issues at these countries. There is inflation in these countries, but still, at least the way the different entities that are responsible to curb these irregularities do their best that these doesn't affect the investors in those countries. Of course, Uganda is also trying its best, though still inefficiencies in the systems and how things really operate is limiting the growth and development of that. Well, it's exactly 8 a.m. We're going to get into a short commercial break. We'll now return. We shall be looking at what's happening in the world of sports and entertainment. Good morning.
Smart 24, driving business.
My name is Kaheru Bright Bernard, a sales and marketing consultant with Bukona Agro Processors. Bukona Agro Processors is a local manufacturer of green energy, specifically ethanol for clean cooking. The factory was established in 2013. Factory work started by 2019, and by 2020 we got support from government through Uganda Development Corporation to further improve our production, manufacture stoves that would be used, that would use ethanol for clean cooking. So with that fuel, we're producing fuel, green fuel, with the bio stoves for clean cooking. And we are in a partnership with GLU Diocese that has about 9,000 local farmers producing cassava, which is a which is a raw material for the production of ethanol. And we also use maize and grain, specifically sorghum, for production of the fuel. And currently we are exporting to Kenya. We have a partnership with Vivo Energy that supplies Coconut Works, a distributor of clean cooking solutions within Nairobi, Kisumu, Nakuru, and other parts of Kenya. We're also distributing within the local market in Uganda, but with, of course, the production of biostoves, we hope we shall also improve our distribution network within Uganda to develop the culture of clean cooking using ethanol made from cassava that is locally produced here. And we hope that is going to support sustainable development goals, specifically SDG 13, 7, and 3, since our effort is to reduce the use of charcoal that has seen a lot of forests cut down, that has seen a lot of Mother Nature being lost, and most importantly, carbon emissions that are being emitted into the sky, causing a lot of green energy issues here and there. So we hope with as we scale up further with support from government, specifically Uganda Development Corporation, we shall be in position to achieve these objectives, develop that culture of clean cooking, and have people consume more of that food. And within our community, we have really had a lot of impact, created a lot of jobs for the local farmers, about 9,000 farmers under the Archdiocese of Gulu Catholic Church. And of course, the local people within Nyoya, within Gulu, and the surrounding areas have gotten employment. We're employing close to 200 people on a daily basis as temporary and permanent staff. And that has really had a lot of impact. And we are hopeful that as we scale up this production process within the local industry, energy, specifically the energy sector, we shall change lives and we shall improve how we consume, how we cook, how we ensure we are consuming our environment through effective, clean, and healthy cooking solutions.
Set to transport to the wrong person. Here's how to reverse it with MTN Mobile Money. Dial *165#. Select My Account. Select Initiate Reversal. You will see your last 3 transactions. Select the transaction you want to reverse. Enter your mobile money PIN and you'll get an SMS confirmation that the transaction has been blocked from being withdrawn. And that's it. Please note, only transactions that haven't been withdrawn can be reversed.
Smart 24, driving business.
It's exactly 32 that is past 8 a.m. and of course we're still driving the business, getting to ensure that we give you the latest of the updates happening around the world of business. Well, but before we get there, don't forget to start your day with buying securities with Zabu. Start today into hash. It's the code, it's the magic code there, and you will be in position to buy government bond securities or anything else that you really feel like you should purchase according to the options that will be that is available to you right there. Start today into hash, and the magic starts in there with as little as 15,000. You will be in position to exercise this, to execute this at any part of the country you will be located. This can really happen. No more paperwork. Buy the shares and stocks where you are at whatever part of the country you are. My money, my future. Do something new. Well, the markets open at 8:15 as I speak. Just 15 minutes back, the markets are already operating. They open at 8:15 a.m. and they close at exactly 3:15 p.m. That is East African time, Monday to Friday, apart from public holidays in there. Zabu, my money, my future. Do something new. Well, now heading straight to this particular segment where we take a look at what's happening in the world of entertainment. But before we get there, let's first have the details regarding the second earthquake, of course, that hit Turkey. And of course, here, according to the information, we see that Turkey hit by two more powerful earthquakes 2 weeks after the disaster. Of course, I talked about this, but now I'm back to explore more regarding what really transpired in here. Now we see that according to the information here, 3 killed and 213 injured. Now government says after earthquakes of 6.4 and 5.8 magnitude shake, and of course the southern province of Hatay. Okay, now a 6.4 magnitude earthquake and second measuring that is 5.8 have hit Turkey's southern province of Hatay, terrifying those in the region, of course devastated by twin earthquakes in just 2 weeks. Now Turkey's Interior Minister Süleyman Soylu said that at least 3 people were killed and 213 wounded, that is by the latest earthquakes, after a large government hospital in the city that is of Iskandar in the north of Hatay province declared it was evacuating patients. Now the earthquake was felt in neighboring Syria, where the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported more than 500 that is injured in the northwest. Now 1 person was reported dead in the town of Samdang in Hatay by Turkey's Disaster and Emergency Management Authority, or what we know as the AFAD. So residents there said more buildings collapsed, but most of the town had already fled after the initial earthquakes. Now mounds of debris and discarded furniture lined the dark abandoned streets. Now the latest earthquakes less powerful than the 7.8 and of course 7.5 magnitude earthquakes that tore apart destruction of course through southern Turkey and northern Syria on the 6th of February. Now, threaten yet more devastation in a region where many people have fled their destroyed homes for the safety of other towns and villages outside the earthquake. Now, it looks like people had already, during the first earthquake, in that very region, people evacuated and left and went to other areas. And now, by the time this other happened, there has not really been so many people in there. Majority had already evacuated as a result of the previous one. So now still we see that's why we see that only 3 have died here and about 213 have been injured. Of course, definitely those that stayed around to try to live a life despite the fact that the city was in ruins. Now the larger quake struck at the depth of just 2 kilometers, that is about 1.2 miles. Now the European Mediterranean Seismological Center said, now potentially magnifying its impact at ground level. Now it was centered near the southern Turkish city of Antakya and was felt in Syria, Egypt and Lebanon. Now we are talking about the effects of the earthquake, in other countries, the feedback. Now Turkey's Disaster Management Agency, AFAD, said that the epicenter for the larger quake was below the defined district of Hatay, in a region where many people have complained of lax shared government response. Of course, government not really putting much response to what is happening in there. of course, to the first earthquakes. Now, in the Hatay town of Ekinchi, Ata Kosa, and of course, we see that people lost quite lots of people. Many people died in there. Now, the mayor of Hatay, Lofus Savas, says immediately raised concerns that the latest quakes had caused yet more destruction across the province and potentially further loss of human life in place. And of course, they're already dealing with some of the worst devastations in Turkey following the previous earthquakes. Now, in Samdan, where the country's Disaster and Emergency Management Authority reported one dead person, residents said more buildings collapsed, but most of the town had already fled after the initial earthquakes. Now, mounds of debris and discarded furniture lined the deck of the Banu streets. Looking at that. Now, of course, we shall be getting more reports regarding this. Now, the death toll in Turkey from quakes 2 weeks ago rose to 41,000. That is 156 on Monday, Afad said, and expected to climb further with 385,000 apartments known to have been destroyed or seriously damaged, and too many people are still missing. Now, at least 47,000 people are estimated to have died across the Turkey and Syria. 47,000 estimations, people that died from that. Now, the Turkish president, that is Recep Tayyip Erdogan, said the construction work on nearly 200,000 apartments in 11 earthquake-hit provinces of the Turkey, that is in Turkey, would begin, that is next month. Now, that is trying to renovate the building. Now, hours earlier, the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said on a visit to Turkey that Washington would help for as long as it takes, as rescue operations and aftershocks were winding down and the focus turned towards urgent shelter, and that is reconstruction work. Now, Blinken viewed the devastation in Hatay province with the Turkish counterpart, that is Mevlut, on Sunday, of course, pledging additional £83 million in aid to Turkey and Syria on top of £71 million pledged by Joe Biden. So, of course, there are quite lots of going on, instabilities accompanied with these earthquakes. It's something that is very devastating in Syria regarding that. And of course, lots of humanitarian agencies already on ground trying to ensure that they rescue out of that. Now, still, as I still see here in the report here, I'll get to realize that in rebel-held Syria, that's the rebel-held Syria, local search and rescue services and the Syrian civil defense, also known as the White Helmets, reported the latest earthquakes and had damaged buildings across a number of cities and towns. Now, the rescue team here, they said people had been injured by the falling debris and crowd crashes, as well as jumping from elevated positions in fear for the destruction. Now, among the survivors of the quakes are about 356,000, that is pregnant women who urgently need access to health services. Now, the UN Section Reproductive Health Agency, that's UNFPA, has said regarding that. Now, they include 226,000 women in Turkey and 130,000 in Syria, and about 38,800 of whom will deliver in the next month. Now, many of them are sheltering in camps or exposed to freezing temperatures and struggling to get food or clean water at the same time. Now, in Syria, already shattered more than a decade of civil war, and most deaths have been in the northwest, where the UN said 4,525 people were killed. Now, the area is controlled by insurgents at war with forces loyal to President, that's Bashar al-Assad, of course, complicating the aid efforts. Now, still, the Syrian officials say 1,414 were killed in the areas under control of Assad's government amid concerns of the truth. And of course, these other deaths regarding that. But anyway, that's regarding that earthquake that happened, the second earthquake in Turkey after 2 weeks. But of course, with a record of just killing, of course, according to the current reports, we're still getting the updates. We see that 3 killed and 213 injured as a result of that, and that is attributed to the previous earthquake, where a majority actually left the country for not the country, but left the area. Were evacuated to other areas. So by the time this other earthquake came in, well, they had already evacuated, and nothing really could injure them as much as the previous earthquake. Well, now away from that, now let's head straight. That is to the business and entertainment, and getting to see what is happening right there. In there, quite lots of events are transpiring, and of course, we anticipate the best. So, getting to understand you as a participant in the business of entertainment, where do you fall? Where do you fall, and what is your part in this? And how are you efficiently executing what you ought to execute in the time that you ought to execute it? Now, let's start with the deal. 50 Cent and Fox strike a TV deal. Now, that is, we're getting to realize that we shall be expecting premium content on the way. Now, Curtis Jackson, that is 50 Cent Jackson, the Emmy and Grammy Award winning producer, director, actor and recording artist, signed a non-exclusive multi-project broadcast direct deal with Fox Entertainment. Now, this exciting partnership will see Jackson's production company, that is G Unit Film and Television, developing a range of scripted dramas, live action comedies and animated series that will air on Fox. Now, the series created this deal under, of course, will be owned by Fox Entertainment and produced by its in-house unit, Fox Entertainment Studios, in collaboration with G Film and Television. Now, this means that viewers can expect some more truly high-quality content, as Jackson is known for delivering premium entertainment that captivates millions of fans across the globe. So that is very interesting from him in there. Now, according to Michael Tone, president of scripted programming at Fox Entertainment, he says that Curtis Jackson, that is 50 Cent, always delivers premium entertainment that captivates millions of fans across the globe. He is the rare hypernet that with a deft hand at storytelling, no matter the format or medium. And they're looking forward to developing new and exciting series for Fox with him and his team. I think the person who owns Fox has a black sort of connection, because the way, I mean, it's not really so common for a black entertainer to have such endorsements in there when it comes to Hollywood entertainment. So 50 Cent, of course, known as a rapper, but still tried out his talents into the world of acting, and things seem to be really working out well for him, putting up different projects together, and these projects are really generating, and it's paying back the money that you really anticipated. Yeah, he may not be ahead of the peers he started with, you know, the people that he was at the same level with way back in the 2000s, but well, maybe God had a sudden career path for him and he's decided to focus on music. He's still into entertainment. He's decided to focus on movies, you know, acting and movies and that. So yes, he still does the music, but it's not his main source of inspiration, like dwelling so much in there. He does it, but not as full time as he used to do it back in the days. And now this deal is something that is very instrumental and speaks lots of volumes. Now, still further, as I review this report, we see that Jackson himself is thrilled about the partnership and is looking forward to putting multiple series on Fox. Now, he said he's excited to formalize partnership with Michael Tone and Fox that will allow G Unit Film and Television to focus on putting multiple series on Fox, a perfect broadcast destination that is for G Unit Film and Television content. Well, their premium streaming scripted and non-scripted slates continue. That is to grow in all directions. Now, it's clear that this is a win-win situation, that is for both parties involved. Now, Fox Entertainment is getting access to some of the best content out there, while Jackson, that is Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent and G Unit Film and Television, are able to focus on creating even more high quality that is programming. Now, this is definitely a partnership to keep an eye on in the future. Then, of course, we shall be seeing what's really transpiring in what is the updates regarding this new partnership with 50 Cent and Fox, and of course lots of entertainment. Now, you see, it's a win-win situation for both parties in here. Fox is getting quality entertainment. Definitely we know 50 Cent for scripting the best and quality entertainment, but at the same time Curtis Jackson is also getting exposure out there, because Fox is one of the big brands which features series, and once your series is really on there, that means it's really worth being in there, and it's going to attract lots of attention, lots of viewers' attention. They may want to really understand what is the series about that it's featuring on Fox. So that is an advantage that 50 Cent is able to obtain as a result of signing a deal with Fox Entertainment. Well, now away from that, lastly, as we look at other news making headlines into the world of business, that is entertainment. Now let's take a look at AMC. As we see, recently AMC released its fourth quarter results performance, how it performed, and we get to realize that the subscribers had increased a little bit. Now AMC's subscribers surged. Now the cable TV giant sees a record streaming and of course beating expectations. Now AMC Networks is making some serious moves in the streaming world with 11.8 million subscribers under its belt in fourth quarter. Now that's up from 1.1 million. So they've just increased by about 800,000 subscribers, because they before they had that is 11.1 million. Now they have 11.8 million subscribers, paid subscribers. That is in third quarter. Sorry, rather fourth quarter. Now, plus the company saw a 35% increase in streaming revenue, totaling a whopping of $502 million US dollars. Now, overall revenue jumped to 965 million, which surpassed expectations by nearly, that is 18 million. That is a win in anyone's book, of course. Now, adjusted per share earnings came in at that is $2.52 per share, far exceeding estimates of $1.2 per share. However, the company did experience operating loss, yes, of about $391.6 million, which included $449 million in restructuring costs and related charges. Now, these costs were mostly related to domestic operations and non-cash programming write-offs, but they were necessary for the company to move forward and continue growing. Unfortunately, AMC Networks did experience layoffs, which accounted for 45.2 million in severance personal costs. Additionally, ad sales fell by 12%. That is to 206 million due to lower linear TV ratings. Now, softer ad sales and fewer original TV episodes. Of course, we saw quite very few advertisement, and the episodes also aren't really, because we get to realize that since the world is in too much of streaming, the traditional programming is not really taken as much serious as such. So AMC had to experience a little bit of some huge costs, which forced it to do the unthinkable of laying off the workers. Now, unfortunately, still further as we look into this report. Now, despite these challenges, AMC Networks remains optimistic and forward-thinking. Of course, with subscription revenues rising 7% and higher streaming customer growth offset continuing to decline in TV subscribers. Now, the company's affiliate revenues fell 7.5% on basic subscriber declines, but also to be expected in the never-changing landscape of the entertainment industry. As AMC Networks looks to the future, it's clear that the company is ready to make bold moves to stay ahead of the game. Now, Wall Street was taken by surprise when former CEO Christina Spade stepped down after just 3 months in the role. But the company quickly pivoted to appointed an interim executive chairman, James Dolan's wife, that is Kristen Dolan, as CEO. Now, James Dolan recognizes the challenges that the TV industry faces, of course, including cord-cutting, streaming competition. However, he believes that the industry can course correct and better monetize content to improve the economics of their business. Now, he's open to all ideas, including mergers and strategic transactions, but the company is likely to remain on its own, that is in the short term. Overall, AMC Networks has seen job cuts across its divisions, but the company is looking to tap into lucrative streaming and global market sales. The Walking Dead spin-offs, of course, as sure to be a hit, and the company's library for offline platforms is major to draw for potential investors. Now, while the company's stock has taken a hit in the last year with 45% drop, it's clear that AMC Networks is ready to make some serious moves to turn everything around. Yeah, now those are, of course, a report from AMC's fourth quarter performance. Getting to see that subscribers rose from 11.1 by during the third quarter performance. The report which was released, the subscribers were at 11.1. Now the fourth quarter being released, we saw the subscribers increasing to 11.8. That's an increase of about 700,000 subscribers. Well, they have not really been focusing so much on that. AMC has been so mainly on the traditional programming as a way of how it's been really making quite lots of its money from that. But then we get to realize that when the traditional programming lost direction as streaming became the way, AMC hadn't really put its game so high, and now you get to realize for them 11, an increase of 700,000 subscribers is a miracle to them, and they're okay to celebrate it. Unlike major players like Disney, Netflix, who possess about 500 or 400 million subscribers, it's not news to them regarding that. But definitely, according to your level, everything works for you according to where you really fall. So depending on that, so that is the AMC. Seeing the subscriber surge, and definitely we anticipate the best for AMC, and of course best more entertainment regarding that. You know that they really consider spinning off The Walking Dead to be an independent part, spinning it off, and that is quite a great asset for them. I guess it will really open some amazing revenue. It will open doors for them in terms of earning much more money from that. Well, it's exactly 54 past 8 a.m. But of course, before we get into the break, don't forget, Zabu made your trading experience much more easier as you just dial *292#, and then you'll be availed with quite a number of options in there. You can buy government securities, you can buy government bonds with as little as 15,000. That is, you get in shillings at whatever part of the country you will be at. And the most interesting aspect here is that if you're really tired of trading and you want your money, still you will get it instantly. *292# is the way to do that, whether you are in the north, you are anywhere in the western region, in the eastern region. But also get to understand that the markets open at exactly 8:15 a.m. and they close at 3:15 p.m. That is East African time. That is Monday to Friday. Weekends they don't work, and also on public holidays there is not really nothing going on. Zabu, my money, my future. Do something new for yourself. Let's get into a short break. We shall be returning with more business insights. Stick around.